Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is we're going to start our look at writing. So if we're going to be writing a 14 to 17 page research paper as our main project for this course. And if I just asked you to write that now, I'm sure this would probably be most of you at your laptop, just not knowing what to do, not knowing where to start. So we're going to make sure that you don't have this experience. We're going to introduce skills and techniques and give you the knowledge that you need, not to quite get you to this experience. I'm not going to lie to you. Most people do not enjoy writing. I do this for my profession, and writing is really the least enjoyable part of what I do. So I'm not going to lie to you and say, oh, you're going to love it by the time we're out of here. So you're not going to get there, but we'll definitely get to this point. We'll get to the point where you're not going to enjoy writing. Perhaps some of you might. You know, I speak from personal experience myself, but you're going to get to the point where if you have to write a paper, you can say to yourself, all right, I got to write 17 pages. I know when to start, where to start. I know what to do. I know what I need. I'm just going to sit down and write it. So we're going to take you from here and get you to here, and it's all going to start with what we're going to go over today. All right, so where to start? What are we going to do? We're going to start with content versus APA style. So in the research paper that you will be writing, you will receive a grade for the content and you'll receive a grade for the APA styles. All right, so content versus APA style. So those are two aspects of a research paper. And the content is what your research paper is about. It's the information that you're communicating in your research paper. The APA style is how your research report is presented. So the American Psychological Association, APA, they came up with their own style for how they want reports to look. And it is widely used in all psychology reports. It's also been adopted outside of psychology as well. It's one of the major styles that you'll encounter in many different disciplines. So it's a good style to know how to do just in general, but that's what it is. It's just a style. It's just how's your research report presented. So the content is the information that your research report contains. The APA style is just the format that your research report takes. What font do you use? How big is the font? How wide are your margins? That's all part of APA style. So we'll take a look at the difference between the two. So this is a sentence from one of my publications, and this was a publication about perspective used in paintings. And here's one of the sentences. It goes, it is less widely appreciated that when perspective effects become extreme, vision does become widely distorted. And then I cite Kennedy and Yudishevich 2002, and then Kubavi 1986. These are two published pieces of research as evidence for my claim. So that's a citation, and there's the format of the citation. So the content of this is basically saying that it's not very well known, it's less widely appreciated, that when perspective effects become extreme, when you go off into the periphery of a picture, vision becomes wildly distorted. Things actually start looking weird in the margins or in the edges of pictures if they're drawn in perfect perspective. That's the content. This is the APA style. So when it was published in Times New Roman. That is APA style. That's the required font. And then you can see here that these citations are done in a certain way. So it's Kennedy and Yudishevich and then Kubavi because they're in order according to the first author. We do last names, not first names, no first names included, no first initials. The year that it was published, not the page number, and it's in parentheses here. That's a parenthetical citation. You'll learn more about that. But basically, there are rules that said this should look the way that it looks. That's APA style. I could have written the same content in a different way. I could have written, it is less widely appreciated that when perspective effects become extreme, vision does become wildly distorted. These distortions were mentioned by Kennedy and Yudishevich in 2002, as well as by Kubavi in 1986. That's the same exact content, wrong style, that is not APA style. That's APA style. So in a in-text citation here, we use and instead of ampersand. We use the year and we put it in parentheses, and that is proper APA style. So all of these things that we're going to do in APA, they're going to be introduced little bit by little bit. So I'm not going to expect you to write everything in APA, perfect APA style right from the get-go. So if you can't remember all these rules about citations, don't worry, we're going to get there. It's just for illustration purposes for today's class. I could have written, it is less widely appreciated that when perspective effects become extreme, vision does become widely distorted. There were some researchers that did notice this, like Kennedy and Yudicevich in 2002 and Kubavi in 1986. Same content, not APA style. There we have it in APA style. And then just one more time, I could have written, not a lot of people know this, but when perspective effects become extreme, things start to look really weird. This was shown in research done by Kennedy and Yudicevich in 2002 and Kubavi in 1986. So a different way of saying the exact same content and then done in proper APA style. And once again, doing an in-text citation where you use the ampersand rather than and. So one of the things I'll just mention real quick, as we go through APA style is just an agreed upon way of presenting your research reports. And it has some rules where I look at them and I say, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because it makes your report easier to navigate. It makes it easier for somebody to understand what's going on, to find the information that they're looking for. Other rules, sometimes I look at them and I go with a why. Why are we doing that? Why is that a rule? One of those is the ampersand versus the and. So if it's in the text, you write and. If it's in parentheses, you write ampersand. Why? I don't know. Is there a good reason? Probably not. But that's just one of the things that APA style, it's a convention, and we need to learn the convention. We need to learn to be able to communicate in that manner so that we can effectively communicate, and you'll find some of the rules make sense, like alphabetizing your references, some of them, or citations. Some of them don't make sense, like ampersand, but it's part of the style that we are agreeing to do. All right, so that's content versus style.